Good morning, Good morning, YouTube. I'm at the soon-to-be Montgomery County Fairgrounds site, as next year they're moving out to Brookville. This has been their fair site for a long time. But this video is about a handout and a political scam. The developer that's supposed to be behind this Miller Valentine gym apparently is asking for the state of Ohio and the city of Dayton for them to get a $5 million grant so they can redevelop this property. Now my question to you is, if me or you or the average taxpayer asked for that kind of handout, would we even have a chance to get it? And the development that they're talking about here is nothing but a bunch of bull crap. The stuff they want to do, you know, like I've heard them have their talk about resident input on various ideas, which the residents have no idea having an input. Sorry, YouTube, that should be for smart business people, not, you know, the regular ordinary joke is the average citizen doesn't know jack shit about how to run a business. But anyway, so they want to give this a $5 million grant. And I've said this before, that if you cannot run your business on your own, if it cannot survive on its own, it should not exist. And one of the ideas that I've heard people talk about, this stupid fluff crap about a downtown grocery store, and I'm over by the horse racetrack, and the reason why I'm over by this area, because if they get a downtown grocery store on this former site, this would clearly be where it's at, because there's plenty of room right here, and they've talked about shopping and apartments and lots and all that other stupid crap. And I just made a video of that Patterson place. I mean, not the Patterson place, well, it's the Rubicon Square, which is a Charles Sims development scam that he can't even sell out his condos after 2 years. But and as far as I know, he is not involved in this project right here. It's Miller Valentine gym, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Sims tried to swoop in with his scamming and tried to join them and get a couple other townhouses, whatever the hell they want to try in here. But even though, and I showed it before, you know, living right here would not be ideal, because there you got the Miami Valley ER right there. You got Care Flight that would be flying about. But I suppose a grocery store, depending on how you look at it, may or may not be such a bad idea. But I don't think it is a good idea, because contrary to what people tell you, you know, you still have a lot of homeless people down here in this part of downtown Dayton. You got the one homeless shelter about a block over from here on Patterson Boulevard. So, and I'm going to talk about, you know, the list of potential grocers that could come here, the three major ones, which in this area are Myers, Walmart, and Kroger's. And I'm going to tell you why two of them will not come here. If the only one that would honestly come here, and if that's only if the city and the developer can con them into doing it, is Kroger's. Walmart's got a store down in Moraine, which is south, down that way about 2 miles away. So Walmart's clearly not gonna open a store here, because they already got the UD market and the hospital market, because there's the hospital and UD's over that way. So they have no need to open up here, and Walmart's not going to open a new super center in a dead zone that's only 2 miles from their Moraine location. And Kroger's several years ago by Wayne and Wyoming on the South Park and South Park, Walnut Hills, and Twin Towers neighborhood, they had an opportunity to build a new store in the Wayne and Wyoming area, but they decided there wasn't enough profits to be made, or either they just didn't want to buy out the remaining property owners there to make it happen. Now maybe it might have a chance here, because they won't have to buy out any property owners or anything like that. But if there was really demand for a downtown grocery store, they would have made it happen 20 years ago somewhere downtown, like where the Tech Town scam or flop is by Monument of Webster. If there would have been demand for a downtown grocery store, they could have built right there, and Tech Town wouldn't even exist. Would not even exist, YouTube. And so my thing is, to any grocer that's, and Myers I don't think will come in here either, because Myers would be the only other one besides Kroger's that would honestly consider a store right here. But I don't even think Myers will, because they haven't built any new stores here for a long time. They relocated their Riverside or North Dayton location up to Huber Heights about 6 years ago, but they haven't built anything new for a while. So that pretty well takes them out of the equation. So that pretty much leaves Kroger's left. And Kroger's knows, obviously, from their market on Wayne and Wyoming, which is only about a mile east of here, you know. And I think one of the reasons they didn't rebuild in that neighborhood is because it's a high crime area with the Twin Towers area. You know, going further down Wyoming, it goes into a really high poverty and crime-stricken area. And so if anybody wants to build a grocery store, well, here, all I can say is Kroger's or whoever, be prepared to lose money. Be prepared to deal with a bunch of thieves. And be prepared that the police might get tired of answering your calls, because, you know, contrary to what people will tell you, there still is a lot of homeless people in this area. Not that I'm not against homeless people. They have to have a place to go and a place to stay as well. But there's a lot of homeless people, a lot of bums in the area, and they'll be coming in to helping themselves to the selection as well. So hopefully, you know, Kroger's or anybody else that might be considering opening a store down here, assuming that they're conned enough and wooed enough, you know, to do it. But I clearly believe if there's a grocery store in this area, this would be it right here on this part of the development site, because I think right up there, that would be used for housing or retail, you know, where the old horse barn is at, because they would clearly have plenty of room for a grocery store right here on this side. But, and if there was really demand for a grocery store, a developer, private development would have made it happen. And the fact that there's already going to be a $5 million, the fact that this developer's already asking for a $5 million grant, which they're probably going to get, because the city of Dayton, they cannot stand for this rat hole in downtown Dayton to be a dead zone, and for it to look like complete and total crap. And still, you know, no matter how much lipstick they put on the pig, it's still a pig. And I've heard rumors they're going to move this agricultural building out to the new fair location of Brookville, or one of these buildings. And why? It looks like complete and total crap as it anyways. Just tear it down and start new and build a new one that's similar like this. And so yeah, it's time, YouTube, that we get in the city of Dayton, we get the private developers out of our tax money and stop stealing from the taxpayer. There's the racetrack up again. But I said all of this is going to be demolished soon. That window up there's got to bust it out. window in 2 locations. So, you know, it's, you know, the day of reckoning is coming, and of course, you know, this grant money, I don't have any doubt that they're going to make the grant happen, because they're going to steal the money, because they cannot stand, you know, for this downtown to be a dead zone. And this would probably be, if they put retail here, which we don't even need, we got way too much damn retail. If you watch my video down by UD that I made a few months ago when the students were back on campus, heck, there's even still 3 or 4 empty spots right there. So there's tons of restaurants over there. And heck, even the first day back on campus this quarter on a Monday evening around 7 o'clock, it was basically dead, the restaurant. So the last thing we need is more restaurants and more shopping space and more stores. We got too much of it that we can't even use right now as it is. So, you know, my solution is, why don't we actually build something here that's going to create real jobs? And what I mean by real jobs is jobs that do not depend on consumer spending. We don't need any more jobs that depend on the consumer to spend money, like restaurants, shopping, hotels, or anything like that. We got way too much of it in the area. We've had way too much for a long time that we can't even, you know, use, that hasn't been used. Because I've seen several shopping centers. I remember 30 years ago, like the old Forest Park by Main and Shoot Mill, they built that one in hopes of poaching more tenants away from the Salem Mall area, which I did a video on that last week, and it never happened. The Coliseum, that's where they hold various events too, you know, book fairs and that type of stuff. And of course that scam never worked out, you know. So, and you know, there's already, and I've already showed, you know, numerous times just to the north of here in the main part of downtown Dayton, all the empty stores and retail space and empty buildings. So what the hell makes you think you're gonna actually, that this would actually be any different? Because as I said already, don't believe what people tell you. There is still a lot of homeless people in this area. You got 2 churches that feed the poor, which I'm not against that, or right by Target and the Gospel Mission, which I'm not against that. And you got the homeless shelter, the women's shelter, although the women are not quite as bad as the men are when it comes to homelessness, but they'll still come in here and help themselves to the selection if there is a downtown grocery store here. So hopefully you idiots have considered that. Hopefully Kroger's or Myers is smart enough, but I honestly believe if one comes here, it would only be Kroger's. And I think the only reason they would try and be lured here, because they wouldn't have to buy out any property owners, but whether or not they would deem the profits would be worth it. Do I think the profits are worth it here? No, because there really ain't that many people that live here, because you've already got the Moraine Walmart 2 miles away, and most of the UD kids go there to shop, or they go to the other Kroger's by Wayne and Wyoming. So, you know, I'm sure I'm going to be making more videos about this in the future as new developments regarding the news of this, you know, bull crap break. But they demand that we get out of giving private development, you know, grant money and scams and loans, because it's just all money that gets flushed right down the toilet. But that's it for this one, YouTube, from the old Montgomery County Fairgrounds, soon to be a Miller Valentine gem scheme. You can see right here, they're still working on Main Street, and this should have been done years ago. This street has been a disaster for a long time. But anyway, YouTube, that's it for this one.